Welcome to Beyond Our Focus.
Jeez.
I'm Stefan. This is Amanda. And this is Unlocking the Beyond, where we delve into the unknown and scare people to the left of us.
I think it's not even fear. My ear just fell off.
You don't need ears. Ears are overrated.
Oh.
It's only your right ear. You only need your left one.
Oh, no, my head.
Today is Aliens, and today is also July the 10th. So, Amanda, other than a splitting headache, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the fact that we fail at our show.
Well, tell me something I don't know.
Okay, so besides that minorly good, happy fact right there.
God! That's what you meant, we
Yeah.
fail at our show.
I thought you noticed that when you were going like this.
I did not!
Oh, okay.
Somehow!
My bad. Anyway.
Tell us about what's going on as I remove this companion cube.
Aww, but it's the companion cube. So, today we are doing something a little different.
Are we, Amanda?
Yes.
Are we doing something different?
Because I have finally seen Arrival. So, I
Yeah.
thought today would be a great day to discuss what we think alien language will be like.
Ooh, that's different. I like that. We've gone over Alien, what we think they would look like.
Yes. It's not really something you can research because most people, they're going to say, hey, we don't have language to compare it to. We haven't discovered alien language yet, so we can't really...
There's no way to guess.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I think Arrival did a cool job at inventing something.
Yes.
Spoilers for Arrival. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, probably.
Because if you haven't seen it came out several years ago, go watch it. It's fantastic. It's
really
a great
is.
movie with some awesome things. And we're going to explore some of those themes within this episode.
Yes. And
Apparently.
so the things that I did find is that scientists are skeptical as to whether or not, even if we are hearing alien language now in some ways, if we are communicating somehow, like reaching out and things are coming back, we may not even understand or be able to hear it.
I mean, it's possible.
Because our brains are wired, even though so many people speak so many different languages, they kind of have a certain structure to them, or at least they have similar sounds that we can piece together.
because we're all human, we
Yeah.
make those sounds. That's how
Yes.
it works.
So, being that aliens maybe or highly, highly likely don't even have that similar structure, we could literally be trying to listen to whales.
Yeah, but still, that still sounds something we could comprehend to some degree.
Yeah.
But, we don't know whale language, unless you ask Dora. Is it Dory?
Dory. Not Dora.
Well, she explores things too, okay?
But no, as I said, they're just saying it is possible that even if we do hear it, it will pretty much take the process of Arrival, because one article I did actually...
Because it's something that actually...
Yeah.
Or truthfully, the only movie I think I've ever seen that really touched on something like that.
Yes, they said that how the people went about the linguistics of it, how they actually studied it and had to restructure the way they thought just to comprehend it, is that's how we most likely are going to have to do this, even if we do contact aliens.
Yeah, because how did they talk in that? We didn't hear them talk that much. It sounded
made
kind of like whale.
Yeah, it was like whales mixed with like predator. It had some clicks and stuff to it.
Yeah, so very, very different. But their written language was just insanely cool.
Yes, I really like that.
The round circle language that was the same no matter how you read it. And
Yes.
it meant like so many different... It was so cool.
Like pieces of it were words, and it's like you would go around in a circle and would it be a different word to make up an entire sentence. So like you could have one that almost looks exactly the same except for a couple little spikes that are different, and suddenly it's a whole new sentence.
Yeah. Well, that's how we look at most languages. When you look at a foreign language, it's like, oh, there's some squigglies. I don't know what's going on. Because we just don't understand. We know what we know.
Yeah.
And when you look at a foreign language or hear a foreign language, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
It's like you hear sounds that your brain is like, okay, we can maybe make sense of this somehow. But it's like you listened to dogs barking or whales or something, and you're like, this is just music. This is some sound. This is someone banging things on pans.
It'd be interesting. Arrival did so many cool things.
They really did.
Like getting her, one of the top leading, in this movie, leading experts in language that try to figure ways to communicate and talk to this alien race that is down here. Only purpose is to communicate.
Yeah.
And their language, which they communicate with, is like the secret to life.
And it was interesting because the approach they used, which I guess is pretty much any approach to any new language or meeting someone with a new language, is they were like, okay, the only way we can do this is if they teach them how we talk. If we teach them how to use English, how to use grammar to where we can understand it. So literally saying, my name, this is my name, this is his name. Be like, he is walking. And it's like, or I think they just put he walks and then just have him walking across the thing. So how they communicated was, or how to learn their language was, hey, we're going to teach you how to speak our language first and see if you can kind of...
Yes, we're going to show you certain things and see if you can mimic that back at us so we know what you're talking about and we can take... As long as you're saying what we're saying, we can gather how to communicate back and forth.
Yeah.
So which was really cool, them putting together a computer program to find the words they wanted to use, the ones they'd already learned, to create new circles to communicate back.
Yeah.
It's like, it was so cool. Using technology to our advantage in that.
It was cool to see it progress. And it's like, at this point, I don't even care if this is just a rival review. But... But it's like, it was so cool to see it progress because it was like, you started out with a whiteboard. You started out with a bigger whiteboard. And then it's like, you kept like going. It was like, oh, then it turned into a screen. And then suddenly they're literally using like headphones in her little pad to project what they wanted to say to them with their own language. And it was just... But
language is tricky, as we learned in that, with what they thought was a particular word actually kind of was a different word because it meant kind of a different thing, because gift translated into more like weapon or giving or taking or receiving.
It was like the first thing that happened was like we have a weapon or we give you a weapon, and it's like she literally flat out said, hey, when learning any new language, it is possible for weapon and tool to be...
Same thing.
Mixed up. Yeah. It's like you think, okay, they mean weapon, and they're really saying like tool. Like just, hey, we're digging. We just need to dig with something. And suddenly you're like, oh, nope, that's not a tool. That's a weapon. They're going to kill us all.
And that's kind of exactly what that was. It wasn't a weapon. They weren't trying to do anything with weaponizing anything.
Yes. And then as they got to understand it, it was like, no. We gave you a gift.
Or trying to give you a gift.
We're trying. We're trying really hard. But
and then it was even cooler. I mean, the end of the movie is, in my opinion, super cool. Finally, when she goes on their side of the glass. Yes. And we see kind of what they actually look like. Which they're about 10 times tall.
Yes.
I mean, not quite that many. But 3 to 4 times bigger than they were when you see them on your side. You're just kind of seeing the lower quarter of them. And then her being in their atmosphere... Which was... It was water without being water?
Yes. It was just... It's almost... What is it? Ethereal? Where it's just... It's mist, pretty much. It's a fog, but they moved through it like water.
Yeah, but even her hair moved in it like it was water. So she acted though she could breathe in their atmosphere, but it was water-ish because they also could move through it like water. And it was fog. It was weird. It's cool. I like it a lot.
I don't know. I also like how it went from, okay, we're learning it this way, and they have one symbol, and then suddenly when it's like they were desperate, like, we need you to understand, it suddenly turned into an entire wall of it. And it's like...
Well, that was
like going from one sentence to an entire paper or a novel.
Well, they had learned so much at that point. Yeah. And then it's like, we're out of time. Yeah. This is it. We have nothing more to give. this is our last-ditch effort to give you our language. Because, I mean, you just killed one of ours. Or you didn't.
Yeah.
But stupid humans. Stupid humans.
Jumped the gun?
Yeah, a little bit. Smidge.
And it was like everyone around them was like, oh, bad. This is bad. You guys are being bad. Okay, we must kill bad thing. So, beep. And then it was like suddenly, oh, there was an attack. We're under attack. Okay, everybody in the world's shutting down. We need to evacuate, kill everything.
But I like, in the movie, I really enjoyed how well they portrayed everything. Mm-hmm. Like, we didn't immediately attack them, which, if we're intelligent at all, we won't immediately attack anything that we see.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And they were there for peace. They were there because of peace, because they needed something from us for a long time. And by doing this, is their way to achieve it.
Yeah.
We're giving you something to get something later on. Exchange. But of course, as always, there are a lot of stupid people.
And that's the thing. It's like you don't, especially like if this were to happen, especially if we were to be contacted by another race, it's like, who do you trust with that information at that point? Honestly, I would keep it to a very, very small ass little.
And
group.
you understand? They tried. But inevitably, no matter what, it's going to leak, because every country in the world, or every country that had one of these things, the 12, all had people going up there, and out of those people, you have to let some people in.
Yeah. And
out of all those people, you start letting in people that are around, or maybe that person tells it. It's going to get out somewhere, and once it does, it gets to the media. Once it gets to the media, oh, sweet baby Jesus, we're going to manipulate that as much as possible.
Well, yeah, because that was the first problem that happened is, hey, the government has this, the government is in contact, and they are not telling us anything. We have the right to know. And it's like, maybe you think you have the right. That's fine. Maybe you do have the right. But maybe you just shouldn't know.
Well, it's not even that. It's that people were demanding to know something within the first 24 to 48 hours of those things being there, and they're like, we don't know anything. We can't communicate with them. We hadn't even got the people up there to even start trying to learn anything. We don't know nothing. We know as much as you know.
And then, of course, making everybody so paranoid that they cut off communication between the 12. You're like, are you freaking stupid?
It was pretty interesting. It's like, what if they're trying to divide us? When it was more like, there are 12 pieces of the puzzle. We're trying to unite you. That was the actual goal. Be united and come together to learn something.
Work together, people.
But
work
us
together.
as a species are not
We're
good
very
at it.
threatened. We feel like we are very threatened by everything.
Because everybody's got to own their thing.
We are very insecure.
Every country's got to have their thing, got to own their thing. But it doesn't help that, like, some of the countries they would have landed in are very, like China. China, very, very dictatorship type deal. Or communist, or whatever it is they are. I forget exactly the exact wording for China. But anyway, they're not good to their people. There's lots of censorship that happened in China. And they, of course, were some of the first ones to want to retaliate. So
I just think that language, well, it's like language on a human level is already a barrier.
Yes.
So to think about how it would be if aliens actually contacted us, it's like, could you imagine, like, every country is trying to teach these aliens their own language?
I feel bad for the aliens at this point.
But especially the written. Like, if they had gone to Japan, well, I guess even in China, the written language and stuff like that, be like... But, I mean, I think they would actually relate more with that because of these pictures compared to, like, the aliens are writing in picture form. So, being that both Japanese and Chinese use characters, that'd be almost...
The whole thing's different. It's so weird. It's so hard.
I think that would be at least a little bit closer than our alphabet. We get O. I see an O. We got O. We're good.
They go. Lots. They're all O's. Oh, are they going? Ooh.
That's exactly it.
That's all they know how to say is, ooh. Can they say anything else? No, they just keep writing O's. I don't know what's going on. That's your expert opinion?
Maybe they're finally understanding it. It's not an ooh, it's an oh. On that note, though.
On that note, written language, alien language. Language is hard. I think it would be amazing if the world could unite. And don't say, hey, get rid of your language, but could we just come up with a universal language that every country could also learn on top of their normal? So everybody speaks two, and then you'd have one, unifying language? Let's or they've already created a language that's supposed to be, super easy to actually learn. It already exists. I've looked at this up and stuff.
And
very interesting.
Did you learn it yet?
No,
okay.
because that would require me to do something.
Oh my God.
That's too much. But I think that would be amazing for us as a world. Hey, this is the easiest language to learn, period. Let's make that a second language mandatory for everybody to learn. Or at least going forward, and everyone else, and we can all try to get there, so we could at least communicate with each other as human beings. That would be great.
It really, really, really would. Because it's even having, as I said, even having conversations with someone who speaks another language, even if they've tried to learn your language or you've tried to learn their language, because it's not something you're fluent in, because you didn't grow up hearing it, because it's just maybe you're going to have those same issues where even though you hear them speaking your language, sometimes, of course, it sounds choppy, or sometimes they're not using words correctly, but you interpret it as English. They could mean something totally different than what they're trying to say, but because you're hearing it in your own language, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's this way. And they're like, no, that's not what I meant. And it's they can't, it gets frustrating because you're trying to explain what they mean, and it's,
Again, any type of universal language for us as a species to better coexist would be great.
We'll get there. Maybe.
Will we?
Maybe.
Will we, though? Ugh. But as always, that'll be the end of here. Throw a like on there. Throw a comment down there. Subscribe to the channel, because that would be amazing as well. As always, you can reach me. Dun, 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 dun. Whatever it is. You can reach me at Stars That Traveled. Reach Amanda at KZ Pup. Reach the show at, oh, sweet Lord, Beyond Our Focus.
Just karate chop the microphone.
On practically anywhere, including YouTube podcast services around the globe.
Maybe.
And I'll try not to destroy the mic. But, till next time, long days and pleasant nights.